welcome to a special edition of Danville in Focus. I'm your host, Mark Aaron, Multimedia Design Manager for the City of Danville. Today we're out at the Institute for Advanced Learning and Research for the first annual Southern Piedmont Technology Council Tech Summit. The Technology Council has been around for about a decade here in Southside Virginia, covers a wide region here in our area. Quite a few counties are involved in this technology summit. It's a great networking opportunity for IT professionals in and around our community. And on today's show, we're going to take you inside the summit and talk to some of the vendors that are here. We have a lot of great companies locally that are set up here today, some wonderful speakers that are providing some great information when it comes to technology. Of course, here in the city of Danville, we are transitioning to a new technology economy. And of course, we want to attract technology companies to the area. I think we've done a great job in that over the last 5 to 10 years here in our community, and we want to continue to see that grow. And this is just a great showcase for individuals to see just the progress that's being made here in the city with these companies, these technology companies that are continuing to grow here in our community. So first we'll introduce you to Charlie Goss, who's the president of the Southern Piedmont Technology Council. And Charlie, looks like the crowd's beginning to arrive, and tell me a little bit about the excitement around this first annual Tech Summit here in the city of Danville.
Well, this being our first event, we're very excited to have this as a topic area. Information technology is a big and growth area that we feel in our region. We really decided upon this about 6-8 months ago and had a team of folks with the Tech Council working very hard to pull this off. So all the way around, we're real excited about today. Of course, tonight, we'll have our awards banquet as well on top of it. So hopefully some of these people will stay and enjoy that as well. So it's a good day for us, a lot of work behind it.
I'm sure. Now tell me a little bit about the Technology Council. I know it's across the region now in different counties. Tell us a little bit about the formation of that and how long it's been a council here in this region.
Yeah, the Tech Council's been around for about a decade. Okay. Strong influence with CIT, and that was put together with a lot of the other tech councils in the region. Our service area is quite large across the Virginia-North Carolina border all the way over to Charlotte County and then Henry County on either side. And we've got a lot of ground to cover. We've been working hard to reach out to those other regions as we're somewhat centric to the Pittsylvania County area being the center of the Tech Council. Yeah. But we've got a lot of good membership here. It is a growing membership. We've got very good leadership. We've got a very strong board that we built, so things are going quite well.
And tell me a little bit about the mission of this council. I know promoting, of course, IT and technology services here in Southside Virginia. Tell us a little bit about that mission.
Basically, it's technology awareness for the area, not only the technology companies in the area, but also the general public at large. Yeah. Getting more exposure of the technology happenings that are happening in the area to the public and also to other technology companies. And of course, the real thing is getting technology companies together so they can talk and get some synergies there.
And tell me a little about some of the vendors that are here. I know we've got some locally. We've already interviewed, of course, Gamewood and Techabyte and also EcomNet, but a great local flavor here, I guess.
Yes, yeah. As I mentioned, we do have a very strong IT group, companies and economy in this area. We also got some of the big boys here, Cisco and some of those guys as well. So we decided about halfway through the year this past year to go ahead and set up an IT working group, and that group actually is involved with getting this pulled off. So.
Well, Charlie, congratulations on the first annual summit, and good luck today. I know you've got a lot of different sessions that you're going to be taking place here as well.
Yeah, it's a dual-track session, quite a large group of topics that we're covering.
Great.
So it should be a good day.
Well, congratulations, and thanks for joining us today, and good luck into the evening with the award ceremony.
All right. Thank you very much.
Well, joining me now is Robert Taylor, who's the CEO of Gamewood Technology Systems Incorporated here in the city of Danville. And Robert, thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. And I'm glad to see another local group here taking part in the Southern Piedmont Technology Council Summit today. Tell me a little bit about your company and how long have you all been here in the city of Danville?
Well, Gamewood was founded back in Danville in the early 90s by Dr. Frank Maddox. One of our earlier divisions, though, was Able Telecom Electronics, which was actually started in 1983. So we've been here for quite some time.
Okay, tell me a little bit about some of the offerings that you're showcasing here at the summit today.
Well, today we have everything from our IPTV services, which is over the in-Danville fiber. We also have some digital signage. We also have several phone systems that we're trying to showcase what they call unified communications. We have backup data and storage services and a lot of networking and cable infrastructure, cabling services.
Now, Robert, I know over the last 10 years, the products that you offer here to our citizens has really expanded and grown with the technology. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the new offerings that you have?
Sure. Gamewood right now is getting ready to start rolling out, hopefully, IPTV services over the in-Danville fiber to the fiber to the home project that the city is talking about starting in the first quarter of next year. Mm-hmm. In addition to that, we've added quite a few other products as far as like in our security line. We have the ability to monitor security systems and camera systems remotely or over the internet. Mm-hmm. We also offer tower services. We just recently, this last year in April, acquired EcomNet, which is a company that's an internet service provider and wireless internet service provider out in the Martinsville area. Mm-hmm. That also does tower work. They install towers, they maintain tower antenna systems, and we've added that to our portfolio.
Tell me a little bit about this IPTV and IP telephone service for our viewers who may not understand actually what IP is. Right. Can you explain that a little bit?
So IP is Internet Protocol. So if you can imagine, the TV service is actually delivered over fiber, but because it's a Internet Protocol mechanism, you have to convert it back over. So it's very similar to a cable converter box. You have a converter box that enables you to move the TV signal from the fiber to over to the TV set, and you can get high definition TV. You can get pay-per-view items. Mm-hmm. You can get everything that you currently get on a satellite service or a cable service for that.
And tell me a little bit about the difference in quality and things over an IP versus your standard.
Well, again, with the fiber, you have the ability to have a large amounts of bandwidth, and no matter what type of service you're needing, I think everybody recognizes that there's a need for more and more bandwidth out there. Mm-hmm. So you can end up with fiber getting more high-definition channels, and you can get a bigger or larger array of product offerings across that.
Well, Robert, I appreciate you taking the time to join us today, and good luck with the summit, and thanks so much for taking part. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, joining me now is the CEO of Techabyte here in the city of Danville is Tim Saunders. And Tim, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And Tim, I know born and raised here in Danville. Your company's been in here since 2005. Is that correct?
That's correct. We've been here for about 6 years.
Great. Tell me a little bit about how your company got started. Interesting story behind it, right?
Yeah, one of our clients actually is a medical practice, and they contacted us. I used to live in Durham and did some programming and software development there, and they contacted us to come in and write a piece of software for them so that they could manage their business.
Right. Tell me a little bit about, I know that's one aspect of your company that not many other companies here in the city do. Can you tell me a little bit about that software writing that you all do?
Yeah, we typically are sticking with the Microsoft technologies, the Visual Basic, the SQL Server, the C#, things along those lines, ASP.NET for web-based development.
Okay, very good. Now, how did that one medical practice use your software technology?
The current application is almost 300,000 lines of code on the VB side and almost 15 to 20,000 on the SQL Server side. So it's a pretty elaborate app. They use it in their Danville office, in their Lynchburg office, and in their Tennessee office.
All right, in layman's terms, tell me a little. They keep track of their patients a little easier?
Yeah, they track their patients, they track their invoicing, they track their billing, they track the insurance claims. All of that kind of stuff goes through my software.
One software. Very good. Now, tell me a little about some of the other things you offer. I know you're basically stay on the commercial side of things, but tell us a little bit about some of the things you offer.
Yeah, we do server work, servers, desktops, networking, data storage, disaster recovery, backups, things along those lines. We do web development as well.
Oh, okay, very good with web development. Can you give us examples of maybe some of the websites you've developed here that some of our viewers may be familiar with?
Southside Urology and Nephrology, when they released their new name in January, we had the site for them. There's been a number of other clients that we've got that we've done sites for, Milam's equipment sales, Milam's truck and trailer sales as well.
Great. Now, of course, technology is always changing on a daily basis. Tell us some of the things that on the horizon that you all are looking forward to take part in.
Well, I mean, one of the things I'm going to talk about today is going to be data storage and backups. And 10 years ago, most people didn't have a whole lot of data to store, and nowadays you're getting digital photos that are 4 or 5 megs a piece.
Right.
storage footprints are growing, and the data centers and the capacity and the electrical environments have to be able to stand and withstand the growth, and it's going to continue to grow.
So how do you go about making sure that those I guess storage facilities don't crash on these commercial units?
Well, that does become difficult because you've got to add redundancy in and things along those lines, and quite often people don't have the budget to handle those kinds of things. So we have to go through and work with them to say, okay, hey, look, if you need this and you're gonna, and one of the questions I always ask is, are you gonna cry if you lose this data? Right. And if somebody says yes, well then it needs to be backed up. Yeah. So it needs to be redundant or somehow stored to where you're not going to lose it.
Right. Well, tell me a little bit why you decided to take part in the first annual technology summit. As we mentioned, this is the first time this has occurred here in the city of Danville. I'm glad to see so many people taking part. But why did you feel it was so important?
Well, as a board member here on the Southern Piedmont Technology Council, we felt like we really need to let the people locally know that there is talent local. Mm-hmm. We walk into medical practices all the time, or law firms or accounting firms, and they'll say, well, we use somebody out of state, out of town, because they don't realize there's people locally that can handle what their needs are. So we're here to say, hey, we're here, we're local, we can handle your needs.
Very good. Well, Tim, thanks so much for taking the time to join us, and thanks for coming back to Danville to start the company, and glad things have gone so successful for you so far.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, joining me now is Philip Wright, who's the acting general manager of EcomNet here in the city of Danville. Of course, a local company that made the announcement they would be joining us. When was that, Philip?
September of 10 is when we made the announcement.
Okay, and you moved into the old EDS building out in Airside Industrial Park. I remember Governor coming down to cut the ribbon there. Tell us a little bit about the progress that's being made out at EcomNet.
Well, we have undertaken a pretty large project. We have decided to put a data center in since we have access to the NBC network and the city's fiber, and there's a growing need for data center space. Right. We're outside the blast zone of DC, so there is a need for the data center. Of course, that building was not originally set up for one, and the infrastructure needs are fairly substantial. Right. So the construction and the build out is I would say we're 75% complete, and we're looking for January of 2012 opening of it.
Now tell me a little bit, who would occupy a data center? For our viewers who may not be familiar with that, when they hear that it's a foreign language, tell us a little bit about the insights on a data center.
There are several needs for it. Primarily we'll be focusing on backup and disaster recovery services for government agencies in D.C. as well as local needs, companies that need hosting site that's off-site from their servers. Okay. We offer the backup facilities as well as disaster recovery, and so there's several different applications that we can use with it.
And I know you've shifted kind of your business model here in Danville, but I know you do have the Vertio computers on display here, so you're still producing those up in Northern Virginia, correct?
The Vertio is still very much alive, yeah. and we're hoping once we get the data center up and running and our document scanning business up and running, then we can concentrate on the Vertio as really the marketing demands of the economy. Yeah. What will drive that.
Right. Well, tell me a little bit about why you all decided to take part in this first annual summit here in the city.
Raj Kasuri, our CEO, is very active in the communities where he has facilities, and I was asked to be on the SPTC board about a year ago and began participating and saw the opportunities for networking and promoting the area. Right. And Danville's kind of a burgeoning technology center, yeah, in its own right, and we're just hoping to promote that and help build on that.
It is great to showcase the talent that we have here locally. I know there's 3 or 4 local companies right here in Danville that do a lot of things that maybe individuals from outside the area have done in the past, but it's great to let the citizens know that we have the offerings right here in the city of Danville.
Absolutely. A lot of people don't realize the connectivity of the fiber, yeah, that's coming through this area, and the ability to transfer information is what the future is all about, and the faster and more you can get is the better off you can be. Right.
Well, Philip, thanks so much for joining us today, and good luck in the future with EcomNet, and hope the build-out goes smooth, and we'll be back on and maybe down to visit the facility in the future when that is completed.
We'll have the announcement out and love to have you and do a ribbon cutting on the data center.
Sounds good. Thanks, Philip.
Okay, thank you.
Joining me now is Gary Tucker, who's a professor at Averett University here in our community. And Gary, I know you're hosting one of the breakout sessions earlier today. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about what you were teaching the individuals here at the conference today?
Well, I was talking about information security in general and trying to broaden their idea of what
security is, because it really involves three aspects. It involves availability, integrity, and confidentiality. And we usually concentrate on the confidentiality and we worry about hackers, but really the data being correct and the data being available and the systems being available, contingency plans for disasters and power outages, all of that is just as important as making sure the hackers don't get in.
Very good. Well, I know one of the reasons we're here today is to inform our citizens about the wonderful technology availability here in our community, and you see it firsthand teaching the youngsters here that will hopefully stay in our community, maybe work at some of these companies. But tell us a little bit about your insight into this summit and how important it is really to our community.
Well, I think it's important because we do see an uptick in the technology jobs that are available in this community, and really encouraging my students to come here and get familiar with what opportunities they have, because you can get a general degree in computer science or computer information systems, but then after that you specialize, and they need to have an idea of which direction they want to specialize.
Now, at Avery University, can you get a degree in computer sciences?
Yes, both computer science and computer information systems.
Very good.
Computer science is programming and math. Information systems is servers, networks, and business.
And I know you probably have some success stories of some students that have gone on maybe to work here in our community when it comes to the IT field.
That's right. We have programmers who work for the city, who work in various businesses around here, and also people working at Gamewood.
Very good. Well, I know as we see maybe youngsters in our community in middle school now, maybe that are coming up through the ranks, it's also very important that we have a university here in our community that will offer these things that they need to maybe get a job in the future. So it's very beneficial.
Well, that's right. Well, and I'm a product of that because I'm an Everett graduate. I went off to graduate school, got my doctorate, and then came back. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to do that.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us today and offering your services into the breakout sessions, and thanks for adding to this wonderful summit today. We appreciate it.
Glad to do it. Thank you.
Well, joining me now is Louis Zaccarella, who's with the Intelligent Community Forum, and of course Danville has been lucky enough to be named as one of their Smart 21 communities for 3 years in a row, and we are so excited to have Louis making his first trip to Danville. Correct, Louis?
That's correct.
Now, tell me a little bit about the Community Forum. I know it's really a think tank for technology. Now, tell me a little bit about how it was established and things of that nature.
Sure. The Intelligent Community Forum is a think tank, as you said, Mark, and what we try to do is to energize cities and communities for the 21st century. We believe that now conditions are a lot different than they were maybe when our parents were coming along or our grandparents, and we need to use technology to build better cities and communities and fundamentally to keep our kids home. And that's really the goal of the work that we try to do. In terms of how I got involved with it, I had a hometown that was real nice, like Danville, but like Danville, it had some problems. It lost its railroad, it lost its industry, but unlike Danville, it never recovered. And I had to move away, and it broke my heart. So what I've actually spent the last many years and a lot of money doing is trying to ask really, really smart people around the world, how do you build a better place so that this doesn't happen again? And, at its essence, that's really the work of the Intelligent Community Forum.
Very good. Great. Perfect. Let me make sure. Still in shot there. Everything?
Yeah,
I can't
good.
see the monitor. Louis, as I mentioned in my intro there, that Danville has been named one of the top 21 communities from your Intelligent Community Forum for the last 3 years. Now, tell me a little bit about why you all chose Danville the last 3 years as one of your top 21, and we're very proud of that.
Well, you should be. It's a significant achievement, especially to have it done continuously, because it means that you've made progress in the eyes of our jury and our committee 3 years in a row. We judge communities based on 5 criteria, and I won't go into a lot of detail here. It's a pretty complicated process. But every year we get 400 or so submissions, and we have a group that evaluates communities on those 5 criteria. In Danville's case, I would say that there are 2 things that impressed the group. One was the way you invested in broadband. It has just been the driver of everything else that's going on top of it, the renovation of the city. It's like you put in a new railroad, and now it's operating at pretty high speeds, and that's a good thing. Also, you have a plan to continuously attract technology companies, but other sort of innovative companies, and to allow that to continue to flourish. So there's a very specific plan. I know it's taken over 10 years to execute on it, but you had the patience to actually get it done. And now, as I look around, I'm seeing the results, and it's it's very exciting. It's very impressive. So, you know, in a nutshell, that's what you were getting that award for.
Wonderful, and I know the fruits of the labor are paying off as with the broadband. We've had quite a few economic development projects come to town based solely on that broadband. We asked them, why did you come to Danville? And they say the broadband network.
Yeah, and that will continuously be the case. But, of course, at some point, every community, we hope, will be doing what Danville does. That's our job.
Yeah.
And what you'll see is that you have also invested in your quality of life here, which you had all the time. But you're rebuilding your downtown. I think you've got 4 or 5 new residential buildings there. The old textile corridor is being converted to a place that, again, will continue to attract the type of people I think you want here, who will start businesses, work hard, raise their families. So it's a virtuous cycle that's now in place, and of course the broadband sort of runs under it, almost like, as I said, a new railroad.
Now, we're here today, of course, at the Southern Piedmont Technology Council Summit. This is their first annual summit, so give me your thoughts on this summit here. And a lot of great industries from around the region are here today. A wonderful networking opportunity for these individuals. Your thoughts on that?
Well, it is. I mean, I don't understand half the stuff that they're talking about here, but that's usually the case with me. But what I do understand is that it also sends out the right signal. The Southern Piedmont Technology Council said, you know, Danville is the place that a lot of great activity is happening, and this is where the future is being built, not just for here, but probably for the whole Commonwealth. Right. So let's have a place like this. Let's have an event like this. Let's bring these people in, and, you know, again, send out a signal that technology is really how we're going to build our economy. So on a lot of different levels, I think it's working real well.
Well, Louis, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule. I know. How long are you here for?
Just till tomorrow, unfortunately, then I head out again. So.
We appreciate you taking the time to join us today, and thanks again for your organization for recognizing Danville for the last 3 years. We're very proud of that designation, and we look forward to a 4th year in a row as well.
Well, you guys did all the work, Mark. You know, we just recognize you, but congratulations yourselves, and thanks for having me.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of Danville in Focus. If you would like more information on the Southern Piedmont Technology Conference, please log on to their website. It's sptc-va.org. Again, congratulations on their first annual Tech Summit. We look forward to bringing our cameras along next year for the summit that will be held here in the city of Danville. I hope it shines some light on some of the great technology advances that are being made here in our community. So until next time, have a great day.